Hello, I'm Mick, and this is Movies TV Mad, and welcome to a brand new daily show, Movies TV Mad Live. Every day, we will start off with your DC live action headlines, but we will talk about other stuff in the entertainment industry as well, and we'll talk about the issues, and we'll debate them, so I'm very excited to do this. So the reason I'm doing this live is because I've got a new HD camera, and it takes 6 hours to upload a 15-minute video. So unfortunately, I would prefer to do a pre-recorded special DCEU daily, but that's not going to be able to be the case anymore. So we're going to go live, warts and all. And when you're live, it's a bit more challenging when you're reading articles and trying to read comments, but I will do my best to have the best Movies TV Mad daily live experience for you, my subscribers. So smash the like button. And these are your main headlines. Jeremy Irons in the Flash movie. We're discussing Warner Brothers Discovery open for business, and Stephen Amell wants R-rated Arrow, which I'm really, really excited about. And there is an article to read for all you about that. So yes, the Flash movie news is claiming that at the beginning of the Flash movie, not only will we see Batfleck on an exciting and exhilarating Batbike chase scene with Barry Allen being involved. And of course, we don't know if the rest of the Justice League will be helping with that. But Jeremy Irons will reprise his role as Alfred Pennyworth. Now, a lot of people are surprised about this. I'm not. But it is great that they made the effort to bring Jeremy back. He's a brilliant Alfred. Some of his lines in BVS are hilarious, considering everyone thinks BVS is a depressing film. 80s rewind times 90s. Awesome news. Thank you, my friend. So, yes, Alfred, a.k.a. Jeremy Irons, apparently will be in the Flash movie. I mean, they couldn't hold anything back. They couldn't leave any surprises for us. But I suppose if we never see this movie, and you never know with this studio, it's good to know that he's actually going to be in the movie. It's all about the details, but who else will be in this movie? So, how will this movie set up in its first act? As I've already said, there's going to be a Batbike chase scene, and Barry Allen will be part of that. The first act, basically, is jumping off Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. That's canon in this film. So there is a Justice League now, and Barry Allen is part of the Justice League, and he's famously known for helping to defeat Steppenwolf. So that's the setup. And then Ben Affleck's Batman and Ezra Miller's The Flash have a discussion. Barry's talking about how upset he is that his father's still in jail, and Batfleck reminds him that he broke the speed. He went faster than the speed of light. And so if he wanted to, he could attempt to do it again to travel back in time to save his mum. So that's really the kind of beginning of the movie. But I'm very, very excited that Jeremy Irons, Alfred Pennyworth, is back because he's a great version of the character. And again, Snyder casting Jeremy Irons. How amazing was that? Basically, his castings were near perfect. 80s rewind, the times 90s. I'm so excited for this movie. The Flash is probably my most anticipated movie of all time that I've been waiting to see. I have so many cameos. Also, bring it. Yeah, it's a shame we can't see it this year, but it's still very exciting. So let's get on with the show. And let's read you your first article. So last night and yesterday, Restore the Snyderverse trended on Twitter. And Forbes have done a little article. Now, I don't proofread articles before I read them. I see the headlines and I think, well, this may be interesting. We'll give it a read. So this will be new to me. I don't know if it's positive or negative towards Restore the Snyderverse. So let's have a look. At this point, what does Restore the Snyderverse even mean? By Paul Tassi, senior contributor at Forbes. This week, it was confirmed that WB and Discovery are merging, and that announcement brought what else? A legion of Zack Snyder fans into the replies on social media, claiming that the key to success for their merged company was to restore the Snyderverse. Restore the Snyderverse has been the replacement hashtag for Release the Snyder Cut. Once the Snyder Cut of Justice League was actually released by Warner Brothers giving fans and Snyder himself exactly what they wanted after years of rallying, but now the movement wants more. Only now what they're asking for makes a lot less sense with the current state of WBDC and Snyder and his original cast themselves. So clearly this is not going to be a pro article, but we'll carry on with it. Believe me, you have my full support that what WB did with Justice League, replacing Zack Snyder with Joss Whedon after his family tragedy and butchering that film, was terrible. There also seems to be real mismanagement behind the scenes with certain DC execs, and of course Whedon himself, and his treatment of the cast on set. I was happy to see the Snyder Cut released and agree that it was miles better than the original Whedon tainted release. And the thing is, I don't like this whole, oh, it's better than Joss Whedon's version, it's better than Justice League. It's like, this is a work of art. This is a brilliant movie. You know, you're all lauding the Batman. Why can't you just say that this movie is a work of art? Merely saying, well, it's better than Justice League, is kind of a put down. And really, that's how it's meant to come across. That said, come on, where does this end? Searching for what Snyder devotees are actually demanding now, there are a few different things. Release the Cut. This is a spin-off movement of the Snyder Cut where there's an idea supported by David Ayer himself that there is a non-WB corrupted version of the original Suicide Squad, the worst reviewed DCEU movie that's much better than what was released. Well, it may be the worst DCEU movie reviewed, but it's not the worst. That version they put out there is actually pretty good, considering that they hacked it to death. And actually, you know, they gave Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman 84 5 stars, which shows you how corrupt entertainment media is. But it is hard to believe that reshuffling that film would yield similar results to what we saw with Justice League. Why? You don't know what the movie is, so how can you even form that opinion? We literally just got a Suicide Squad sequel that redeemed that concept and most of those characters thanks to James Gunn. You mean those characters that David introduced, that he killed off? Those characters, right? With Gunn now being a favourite villain among Snyder fans, as he seems like DC's new golden boy. Well, I like James Gunn. I think he's a bit of a one-trick pony, but he's a very talented individual. I like him. I'm glad he's involved with the DCEU. The reason Snyder fans don't like him is because he's very MCU, and that's the kind of tone they don't want. The Batfleck movie. Once upon a time, there were plans for Ben Affleck to get his own standalone Batman movie, but that never happened. And instead, we got the Robert Pattinson non-DCEU film instead. I've seen even Snyder fans admit that that film is good, and it's unclear what a real purpose there would be returning to Ben Affleck's Batman to have parallel live-action Batman tracks running. Well, again, they're two very different movies. The Batfleck movie has got Batman versus Deathstroke. Deathstroke tears his life to pieces. Even rumoured maybe he kills Alfred. He even, I think, traps him in Arkham Asylum. This could be an Arkham movie. So they're very different movies. There is a multiverse strategy going forward, so why not? To be clear, if Ben doesn't want this, we move on from that, for sure. Especially since it's clear Pattinson is getting a sequel and spin-offs on HBO, and Ben Affleck is doing fine. He's about to marry Jennifer Lopez. If you call that fine, that's up to you, by the way. Just starred in the critically acclaimed Last Duel and has a bunch of directing projects booked. Affleck is moving on, even if his fans won. Listen, if he's officially moved on, sounds like he has, right? That's fine. He hasn't said anything to the contrary. I'm quite happy to move on with him. If he wants this, I support him. That's my attitude. Man of Steel 2. I'm not opposed to this. I think Man of Steel is chronically underrated. And yes, Henry Cavill has expressed interest in playing Superman some more. That said, like Affleck, Cavill is doing great. But for what is likely to be 5 seasons of The Witcher on Netflix and about 5 more movies on deck. Yeah. But he can still be Superman if he wants. If they still want him to be Superman. It's complicated. We'll wait and see. Justice League 2 again. It's hard to picture this with the cast scattered as they are. Ben Affleck and his Batman have moved on, but he came back for that little extra scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. I'm sure he'll be happy to come back again for Justice League 2 and 3. have moved on. Cavill could return, but is busy with tons of other projects. Ray Fisher and WB fell out, yes, but he'd come back for Zack. He came back for Zack in the Snyder Cut, even though he was, trying to get justice for what happened on the Justice League reshoot set. And it seems unlikely we'll ever see Cyborg again. Never say never. Ezra Miller is probably done as the Flash after their recent arrest, and even their solo film is in question now. Now, that's an interesting point that he brings up. So it's not just me saying this, that this movie is under threat. That leaves Aquaman, who is getting a sequel soon, and Wonder Woman 3 in the eventual future. I don't know how you reassemble based on the state of a cast like that. He does pose an interesting point. 80s rewind at times, 90s. Any truth to the rumors that Ben Affleck is in secret talks to do his version of the Batman movie? I seen an article on giant freaking robots a little while ago. Right, do you want to take my advice? Giant freaking robot, I'm sure he's a great guy. He's a great little site. I'm happy for his success, but I wouldn't believe a word he said. Now, can I tell you if it's definitely not true? I can't tell you that, but that's not a publication take as gospel. And then there's Snyder himself. Like Cavill, like Affleck, Zack Snyder is doing great. Post-Justice League, Snyder went on to do Army of the Dead for Netflix, which was a hit, and it already got a spin-off prequel, Army of Thieves, which also did well. Snyder is currently assembling a truly massive cast for Rebel Moon, a science fiction project that Netflix seems to have given him a huge budget for. It's even let him reunite with Ray Fisher. In short, if you care about the fates of the cast members and Snyder himself, who was slighted when all the Justice League drama went down, they're doing fine. Fantastic. Even the idea that Snyder needs to return to steer DC's ship for the next decade does not seem like something that's remotely plausible. Given all that happened, why would Snyder even want to work that closely with WB and DC again? Right. It's pretty clear this is why I fell out with James Mangold, right? Basically the director of Logan, the director of the new indie film, right? Because he was saying we should all leave him alone and he wants to move on. And the fact, when we were fighting for the Snyder Cut, this is when this happened, Zack didn't want to move on. Zack does not want to move on. So anyway, I know this won't end. I know that writing this will probably get me yelled at. No, I won't yell at you, mate. Can't be bothered. Which is funny because I legitimately like Snyder and most of his DC work, but I think it's okay to let him and his cast move on. They don't want to move on, right? Okay. And it feels like fans want them back more than even they care about returning. No, not true, regardless of what WB is doing. So, look, I'm not surprised that this kind of article. Doesn't surprise me at all. But let me just queue up my next article. Right. But I'm not surprised from Forbes. I'm not surprised from Access Media. It seems they don't really know much apart from, well, everyone's busy. Everyone's doing fine now. So why don't you let them move on? Listen, if they don't want to come back and do more DC, they don't have to come back and do more DC. But we're fighting for this. And if Zack says, hey, guys, I'm moving on now. I'm not interested. I'm too busy. Then fine. We'll let it go. Surely. 80s rewind at times, 90s. Mike, man, I love your passion for DC. I love DC so much. Also, I've been watching a lot of WB's Grant Gustin, The Flash. What do you think about him as a replacement for Ezra? I like it personally, buddy. Right. Here's my opinion about that. You can't just throw him in and replace one actor with the other. But what you could actually do is spin off Arrowverse as the brand new movie franchise and bring Grant in to replace Ezra. And then you just kill the DCEU. It will be a controversial decision. I spoke about it in full in yesterday's pre-recorded DCEU Daily. But if I wanted to remove him, I'd have to remove everyone, right? Or you can even do this multiverse strategy where Arrowverse and, the DCEU Justice League are one combined Justice League. That could be exciting. And maybe with the Flash movie, this is what they're looking to do with the multiverse strategy. So that's my opinion on that. So, yeah, just closing on, restore the Snyderverse, we're fighting. As far as we know, Zack wants to do this. Ben's kind of made it clear he's not interested anymore. And that's fine. I'm fine. If Ben wants to move on, we don't fight for the Batfleck movie. David Ayer has made it abundantly clear he wants his Ayer cut released. So there's nothing wrong with fighting for that. So we move on with today's show. Stephen Amell has an interesting suggestion for a possible Arrow Season 9. Stephen Amell says he wouldn't mind returning to the role of Oliver Queen, especially on a platform that would allow an Arrow Season 9 to show blood by Brennan Klein of Screen Rant. Stephen Amell is open to doing a potential Arrow Season 9, but he has a very interesting suggestion for the return. Arrow originally premiered on the CW in October 2012 and ran for 8 seasons, airing its series finale in January 2020. The massive success of the series spawned what is now known as the Arrowverse, a family of CW series based on DC Comics that includes Supergirl, The Flash, Superman and Lois, and DC's Legends of Tomorrow. Stephen Amell became a star off the back of his performance as the complicated hero Oliver Queen, also known as Green Arrow. After being stranded on a desert island for 5 years, he returns to Starling City to atone for the sins of his mogul father and become a vigilante hero using his combat skills as well as his prowess at archery. Over the years, he faced off against various villains while being caught in a torrid love triangle between sisters Laurel Kate Cassidy and Sarah Lance Katie Lotz. That's how it started, of course. Before ultimately marrying Felicity Smoke, Emily Beth Rickards. Don't get me started on her. Recently, Stephen Amell sat down with Den of Geek to discuss the 10-year anniversary of being cast on Arrow. He admits that he misses Arrow now, that he has some distance, and he wouldn't mind returning to the role, whether it's in a limited run miniseries or a full season 9. However, he made the suggestion that Arrow could maybe run on a different platform so they would be able to show blood, which he admits would be really cool. Read his full quote below. Oh, sure. I owe so much to the people of DC, the CW, and Warner Brothers Television. I love the character so much and only love it more now that it's coming up on 2 years since we wrapped the show. But having a little space now, I saw that I miss it. I do look back very, very fondly on it. Listen, I'm the namesake, so if I can ever be of any help, if I can be of service to the Arrowverse in any way, shape or form, or better, still take it to a new place, which I think would be the more interesting route to go, be that in a limited capacity on a different platform, maybe one where we could show blood. That would be really, really cool. I absolutely support this. Amell might have some distance from Arrow now, but he certainly hasn't stopped to rest. It seems likely that his interest in more high-octane version of the character stems from the projects he has been working on since the finale. He almost immediately moved on to the high-profile Starz drama Heels, in which he portrays a heel in a wrestling league who faces off against his brother, played by Vikings Alexander Ludwig. Amell also recently completed a sequel to the gritty 2019 superhero crime drama Code 8, in which he co-starred with his real-life brother Robbie Amell and son Khan. Given his commitment to Heels, it seems unlikely that Arrow Season 9 would happen. This is just like the Forbes article. You know, they can do more than one thing at once. Heels doesn't have many episodes a season either. If he's saying he's up for it, he's obviously got the time to do it. Right. Seems unlikely that Arrow Season 9 will happen anytime soon, even if it was a sure thing. However, when that series eventually winds down, the Arrowverse will be in a very different place, and fans and producers alike may be itching for the return of its original hero. The CW is currently being sold by its parent company, so its future is definitely in question. Yeah, that's official. It's being sold. But once it finds a new home, if the stewards of the Arrowverse are able to explore a more visceral and hardcore direction, it sounds like Amell will be the first on board. Right. I don't know the details of this. So apparently the CW is being sold by its parent company. Its parent company is CBS and Warner Brothers. Once it gets sold, they will not be able to broadcast any television that belongs to WB and DC unless they pay to do it. So that's very interesting. So, yes, I love Stephen Amell as Green Arrow. I think the first 2 seasons were fantastic. And even though it took a dive in quality, he was great. And I just like the spin on Green Arrow that they did. And as I said on yesterday's DCEU Daily, ironic that he was going around murdering villains every week in the first season or two. And, you know, ultimately, when Man of Steel and BVS came out, everyone complained that that was too dark. Talk about an agenda. But I love Arrow. I love Stephen Amell. I would give him an R-rated movie just like that if he was up for it, because he's very, very popular, and I think people would go to see it. So we move on. So let's do so. So we move on to the MCU. So we're going to talk about Thor, Love and Thunder, if anyone's interested in that. Thor, Love and Thunder merch hints at Gore attacking Valkyrie and New Asgard. A new official brief for Taika Waititi's Thor, Love and Thunder hints of Christian Bale's villain, Gore, the God Butcher, attacking New Asgard by Anna Dumbledore of Screen Rant. A new brief for Thor, Love and Thunder hits at Gore, the God Butcher, attacking New Asgard. Christian Bale officially joins the MCU via the upcoming Taika Waititi directed film. But instead of playing the hero as he did in DC through the Dark Knight trilogy this time, he's bringing a bad guy to life in Gore. He should be great in this role. I think the MCU are going to do American Psycho all over again. Plot details for Thor, Love and Thunder are still scant at the moment, despite the film being only 3 months away. And this is very, very interesting, by the way, how there's not been much marketing, right? 80s rewind to time 90s. Him taking a break from the series seems to have got his juices flowing again to play the character of Green Arrow. I'd love an R-rated version movie. Yeah, listen, he's a great version. This is why I am inclined to say, if, you know, Warner Brothers Discovery don't want to carry on with the DCEU, just spin Arrowverse with him and all the other people into a brand new kind of franchise movie, DC Extended Universe. It's probably what they should have done from 2012. Instead of it being on television, it should have been a DC Extended Universe. So, you know, there are possibilities there. But even with this multiverse strategy, Arrowverse can play a big part in this brand new kind of multiverse strategy. So I'd be looking to utilize the Arrowverse a lot cinematically. From hitting theaters, Marvel Studio has also yet to release any official marketing material for the blockbuster, leaving fans desperately waiting for their first look at the film. Luckily, since its release is slowly inching near, time merchandise for Thor, Love and Thunder has already started to hit shelves, offering fans an idea of what to expect from the flick. But aside from costumes, the latest batch of toys from the Marvel Legends series shares short premise for the project. Courtesy of Thor Foster via Thor, Love and Thunder News is an image of the back of Valkyrie, Tessa Thompson figure, which includes a brief for Thor, Love and Thunder. It reveals that New Asgard will be under attack by a dangerous visitor, putting its people's livelihood in jeopardy. This forces Valkyrie to suit back up in order to defend Asgardians. Check out the said image below. So this is the image of Valkyrie, if anyone's interested, if you can see that, and I think you can see it a little bit. Sorry, I don't have the software and the gadgets to put it on screen for you, but she looks pretty cool, right? The dangerous new visitor isn't explicitly named in Thor, Love and Thunder brief, but it's safe to say it will be God, the God Butcher. After all, he is the confirmed bad guy of the story. It also makes sense that his arrival becomes the inciting incident that forces Thor, Chris Hemsworth, to return to New Asgard. And questions have to be asked, by the way, of Chris Hemsworth's future as Thor. Will he continue to play Thor? Will there continue to be Thor movies? Will Chris, be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3? I suspect so. It wouldn't surprise me, considering Jane is going to be a version of Thor, that she replaces him as Thor, which would be somewhat controversial, but the way politically Feige and the MCU are going, it wouldn't surprise me. As fans would remember, after the defeat of Thanos, Josh Brolin in Avengers Endgame, the God of Thunder finally admitted to himself that he didn't want to become king, so instead he officially passed the mantle to Valkyrie. Yes, because a woman had to be king. Yes, I think she's still a king, not a queen, by the way. While he joined the Guardians of the Galaxy in their adventure. Given this, there has to be something that pulls him back to New Asgard, and God, the God Butcher's threat could very well be that. But wait a minute. Strong woman running New Asgard. and she can't handle this god butcher. She needs a man to help her. Oh dear, dear, dear. Get your messaging right, Mr. Feige. Bale reportedly worked on some late reshoots. There's a lot of reshoots in MCU movies right now. A few weeks back for Thor: Love and Thunder. It's uncertain if this is the reason why Marvel Studios hasn't released a trailer for the movie in any case, considering how popular the God of Thunder is, not to mention the faith of viewers in Waititi, given what he was able to accomplish in Thor: Ragnarok. Kevin Feige can get away with minimal promotion for the blockbuster. Still, it will be great if they start marketing the project now for the general movie-going population. Look, Feige did this with Avengers Endgame. He waited for ages to give people a trailer. It's just a marketing tactic. It's marketing within itself. They did the same thing with Spider-Man No Way Home, constantly winding the fans up, and it really worked out for that production. And so it'll be an interesting movie, but I think it may split the fans down the middle. To get Christian Bale to play this villain is great casting by Feige, and I'll look forward to seeing him because Christian Bale has great quality. We move on to Jurassic World Dominion. So let's have a look what they're talking about here. Jurassic World Dominion's new dinosaur is like the Joker, says director. Wait a minute, how does a dinosaur get to be like the Joker? Is someone trying to hype up his movie? Colin Trevorrow teases the new dinosaur introduced Jurassic World Dominion and the kind of threat it poses, likening its mindset to the Joker's, by Brady Entwistle of Screamrant. Colin Trevorrow, the director of Jurassic World Dominion, is teasing that the film's newest dinosaur is like the Joker. The science fiction adventure movie is set to premiere on June the 10th, 2022, and serves as the sixth installment in the iconic Jurassic Park franchise, following the calamitous attempts at creating a theme park full of genetically recreated dinosaurs stemming from Steven Spielberg's original 1993 adaptation of the source material. A novel of the same name, Jurassic Park, has gone on to become one of the highest grossing franchises of all time, benefiting in recent years from the success and heightened popularity of its latest trilogy. The upcoming film will act as a sequel to 2018's Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, where audiences last saw the prehistoric creatures freed from the Lockwood estate and Dr. Malcolm declaring a new Jurassic age. Set 4 years after the events of Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Dominion will observe the efforts between humans and dinosaurs to coexist and determine whose Earth apex predator really is. We'll also see the return of Jurassic Park stars Sam Neill, which is awesome, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum, and B.D. Wong. Oh, I had a big argument with B.D. a few years back about inclusion and representation. It was fun. He wouldn't leave me alone. I had to mute him in the end. Who are reprising their roles from the original film series and joining Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, Isabella Sermon, Justice Smith, Daniela Pineda, and Omar Sy. Fans of the franchise have been excited about more than the cast list through, with Jurassic World Dominion introducing new dinosaurs like the, can I read this word? Giganosaurus. I'm sure one of you out there knows what it is anyway. The Giganosaurus. I think I got it. It's a bit like Doctor Who when they get the word. Oh, I forgot it's where the Slovene come from. I forgot the bloody word. You know what I'm talking about. As the result of being put out into the world and adapting. Now, Colin Trevorrow is telling Empire more about the Giganosaurus, a colossal-sized dinosaur capable of taking down the likes of a T-Rex. The largest creature these characters have faced, the Giga, as he calls it. Yeah, let's just call it the Giga for me. Will be a dangerous threat. Trevorrow teases that he wanted something that felt like the Joker before adding that it just wants to watch the world burn. So this is interesting. I like this kind of comparison. Some people have made fun of this comparison because that's what film Twitter does. People who've never worked on a movie set before thinking they know it all. In addition to new dinosaurs, Jurassic World Dominion will also feature new cast members, including Mamadou Anthony, Scott Hayes, Dishan Lushman, Campbell Scott, and DeWanda Wise. Exactly how big of a role these actors take on remains to be seen. It won't be big. But Wise recently shared details on her character, Kayla, a pilot in the film. She says that Kayla is fresh out of the Air Force and responsible for flying cargo through trailers have shown her assisting Owen and Claire as well. It has also been revealed that Campbell Scott will be portraying Dr. Lewis Dodgson, a character who previously appeared in Jurassic Park. I don't remember him, but that's awesome. Through all of its promotion and in bringing back stars from the original film, Jurassic World Dominion has generated a high level of anticipation. It should be interesting to see how these characters interact and how new threats like the gig, we call it, impact the cinematic universe and possibly the future of the franchise as it nears closer to release date. Jurassic World Dominion will surely entertain and look to bring a successful ending to the trilogy. And surely there'll be another trilogy after this, because at the end of the day, this is huge. The addition of Chris Pratt was absolutely fantastic. People like Chris Pratt. I know there's some people politically that don't like Chris Pratt and have started some kind of agenda against the poor man, but he's done nothing wrong. And if they want him to voice Mario, then he should voice Mario. The man's very talented. And when we talk about, the same people taking the same jobs, that's Hollywood. I don't see you complaining when other people take the same roles. And that's the problem with a certain political side. They only talk from their own side, point of view. And that's the problem. So Chris Pratt's awesome. Looking forward to this film. It sounds brilliant. And to think of a dinosaur who's like the Joker and just wants to see the world burn is very exciting to me. Now, let's update you with the success of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Look, they're expanding with a Sega cinematic universe. This is very exciting. Basically, the gaming movies are catching steam now. Now, this is really the only one that's really done well in the first Sonic movie, and Paramount are nailing it with this adaptation. It'll be interesting how the Mario movie does. After this article, I'll tell you my concept for a Mario Kart movie. Sonic 2 breaks box office record for best video game movie opening ever. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has broken the box office record for the biggest opening weekend for a video game adaptation, grossing over 71 million by Tyler Chioffi of Screen Rant. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has had the biggest box office weekend ever for a movie adapted from a video game. Obviously, that wouldn't be hard, although the first Sonic did really well. In the past, video game adaptations were a tall order for film industry due to so many people having experienced the stories through playing the games. That's not the reason. It's because the movie industry didn't get it right. The expectations set for the movie always end up being extremely high. Whether it'll be 1993's Super Mario Bros., 2001's Tomb Raider, or even 2016's Warcraft, a video game film can receive poor reviews due to their lack of substance or attempt to translate something that just doesn't work on screen. Doesn't work on screen because sometimes they're creatively bankrupt. However, in recent years, Hollywood has had a few major successes with video game adaptations, with films such as Detective Pikachu, Uncharted, and Sonic the Hedgehog ushering in a new era of video game adaptations. This is the new thing now. It's going to take over the superhero genre in film and in live action. I can assure you of that. 2020's Sonic the Hedgehog is at the forefront of successful video game adaptations. When first announced, Sonic was met with heavy skepticism due to the intriguing design choices the creators had made for the titular hedgehog. After listening to these concerns, listen to this. Do you remember that? They listened to the fans' concerns. They didn't call us toxic fandom. They realized their design wasn't good enough. They went back, gave themselves and us a fighting chance, right, with this character, and now he's got a beautiful design. He looks beautiful because fans, consumer and studio worked together in perfect harmony. Though Paramount Pictures decided to delay the film to fix the way Sonic looked, as a result, many who had originally said they wouldn't see the film changed their minds, leading Sonic to earn the highest opening weekend box office for any video game movie in history. Word of its fun family storm with some incredible acting from Ben Schwartz as Sonic and Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik spread, resulting in the film becoming North America's highest grossing video game movie ever. By the way, James Marsden was amazing in the first movie, and he's amazing in this movie. Let's shout out the actual star of this film. According to Variety, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has broken its predecessor's record for the best box office debut for a video game adaptation. The film has taken the #1 spot over Morbius and Ambulance. There wasn't much competition, but still, the Batman didn't have much competition either, and we laud that success. Grossing over $71 million in its opening domestic weekend, the first Sonic movie, for comparison, opened with $58 million for a box office that's slowly being returning to a pre-pandemic numbers. Sonic 2's weekend box office is outstanding, and it could lead an incredible run in theaters if the reviews and audience scores for Sonic 2 remain positive, and there's no reason why it shouldn't. 80s rewind to times 90s. Oh no, I've already read that. Bat Super. Good morning, Bat Super, and welcome to my brand new show, Movies TV Mad Daily Live. We'll be here daily live. It will not be pre-recorded anymore because it takes too long to upload an HD video, and I will be updating you with DC live action and everything else in entertainment that I think is interesting. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is also likely to surpass the first film's other record as North America's highest grossing video gaming film ever. With spring break on the horizon for many schools across the country, families everywhere are likely to see the film in the coming weeks. Additionally, with Jim Carrey saying he is likely retiring soon, yeah, he's mucking about, some moviegoers may be interested in seeing the star's possible final role on the big screen. It's not his final role. The film seems to have come out at just the right time to make all sorts of box office and movie history. That's super. That's awesome. I love these live streams. Thank you very much for your love and support. Paramount has already confirmed that there will be a third installment in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, which is clearly a smart move after the success of both of the first two films. Additionally, Paramount has also announced there will be a Knuckles spin-off show released with Idris Elba signed on to continue voicing the character. With plenty of unique characters and stories to explore, it is no surprise that Paramount is doubling down on the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise by greenlighting more sequels and shows that will likely echo the success of the franchise thus far. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is in theaters now and is quickly moving towards becoming one of the most successful video game movie performances of all time. So I have seen this movie over the weekend. It's absolutely fantastic. If you want to take the family to see a movie, a family-friendly movie that's not complex, that's not getting your kids' heads and forcing them in the real world, and gives them that mental kind of escapism that we all need in life, go and see this movie. Because it's one of the few franchises that's actually do at this. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's the thing. It's all about escapism. So it's very good for your children to have escapism, like it was for me as a kid, to have all that escape. Star Wars, Superman the movie, Indiana Jones, you know, Gremlins, all these different things, RoboCop. They were pure escape and they were brilliant. So let me just give you quickly my concept for a Super Mario Kart movie. Now, in my younger years, I used to be obsessed with Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart. And I think you can do a really super uncomplicated movie here. Mario has always wanted to run in this game, right? Or maybe, I've got a better idea, right? Considering it's called Mario Kart, right? Maybe this world at this point doesn't have racing as a sport, right? So Mario comes up with this idea to create a race, a Super Mario Kart race, right? He even invents the cars, but he keeps on getting rejected by the officials of this world, whoever they are, because they don't understand the universe that well. But in the end, somehow he gets it done. And he gets to take part in this race, but he has, you know, he has emotional kind of blocks up. You know, there's reasons why, you know, maybe his cart doesn't move and he has trouble, you know, doing it. And I just think that kind of movie would be so good. I would love to see a Super Mario Kart movie. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see a Super Mario Kart movie. So we're back to, let me see, I think this is, this is another one about Thor Love and Thunder. Thor Love and Thunder toys reveal new look at Jane Foster and Valkyrie costumes. Or is this the same one? Let's have a look. This is a different one. Thor Love and Thunder toy leaks offer a new look at Natalie Portman's Jane Foster and Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie in the upcoming MCU film by Josh Planisi of Screen Run. With just a few months until the theatrical release of Thor: Love and Thunder, merchandise for the film offers new look at Natalie Portman's Jane Foster and Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie. Behind Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Taika Waititi's Love and Thunder is one of the most anticipated movies of the year, following multiple release date changes due to COVID pandemic. Chris Hemsworth's fourth solo outing, and could be his last, by the way, as the God of Thunder, is finally set to release in theatres on July the 8th. Look, it looks like our Thor will bend the knee and take a back seat for two very strong women, Valkyrie and Jane. This is very, very obvious here. And this is the direction, the political direction that Disney have decided to go in. And it can only end in tears. Following the events of Avengers Endgame 2019, Love and Thunder will presumably pick up with its titular character aboard the Milano alongside the Guardians of the Galaxy. The film is also set to see Hemsworth's God of Thunder pass his mantle to Portman's Jane Fonda. Pass his mantle. Think about that. So maybe he will be a regular member of the Guardians, which I'm actually okay with. I just won't care about the Thor franchise anymore. Jamie Alexander's Lady Sif, Christian Bale's antagonist God, the God Butcher, and Russell Crowe as the Greek god Zeus. That's ironic because we had a Zeus in the DCEU, and Russell played Jor-El in Man of Steel. So that's interesting. As moviegoers not so patiently await for the first trailer for Love and Thunder, it appears the first look at the film's characters has been spoiled through merchandise. Toy leaks via the Direct offer a look at the upcoming line of Marvel Legends figures based around Love and Thunder, set to hit toy shelves. The boxes include looks at Gore, Groot, Ravager, Thor, and Star-Lord. Two other boxes offer a first look at Jane as Mighty Thor and King Valkyrie. Yeah, you see, she's a king. She's a king. She can be a king. It's fine. No problem. Waititi has said Jason Aaron's Thor run greatly inspired his work on both Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. That's super. I think it would be really fun with a Mario Kart movie. I love platform games like Mario and Sonic, and would like to see more of that on the big screen. Yeah, I think a kind of Rocky story for Mario in a Mario Kart game that he invents. But there's reasons, there's obstacles in his way why this hasn't happened, and it can't happen. But pure force of will, Mario gets it done. He fights to be in the race. Can he win his own race? Can he do it? Is his kart good enough? I think it would be really awesome. Which is evident by Jane's transformation into the Mighty Thor. In addition to Jane's storyline, Love and Thunder will see Valkyrie as King of Asgard, something that was set up in the final moments of Endgame. While little is known about how Valkyrie is doing as new Asgard's ruler, Thompson has teased that the king may have some new powers as she searches for a queen in 2019. Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige confirmed Valkyrie as much as the MCU's first LGBTQ plus hero, and audience should expect to see some romance in Love and Thunder, as that was not properly addressed in Ragnarok. It would be a bit controversial. What if King Valkyrie and the Great Thor, or whatever they're calling the Jane's version of Thor, actually fall in love and end up together and rule New Asgard together? I reckon this is what they're going to do, and it'll be amusing to see how that works out. Toy leaks being the unofficial first look at big budget superhero comic book projects is nothing new. Hopefully the Jane and Valkyrie toys can be further contextualized whenever Thor: Love and Thunder trailers finally decide to drop. Given the film's July release date, it seems likely that the trailer either drops this month or not long after the release of Multiverse of Madness on May the 6th. I think it will be with Multiverse of Madness in cinemas. That's what I predict. And online, of course. Listen, I like Thor. I will be excited for this film, but I think lots of people will be triggered by it. Listen, I don't care if she's called King Valkyrie. I don't care if she's LGBTQ. I don't even know how to say the letters, so I don't want to get them wrong because I don't want to offend people. But I don't mind if she's an LGBTQ. God, man, I want to get it right. Here you go. LGBTQ plus, right? Hero. So I don't mind that representation. It's not a problem to me. It doesn't do anything to me. It doesn't stop my life. It doesn't halt my life. But these representations have to be done properly. And a lot of time, the entertainment industry just think optics is enough. So I think a lot of people could be triggered about this movie. So let's update you now with some Fantastic Beasts box office. Fantastic Beasts 3 international box office is lower than Crimes of Grindelwald. Fantastic Beasts, don't forget this hasn't been released in the US yet. Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore debuted overseas this weekend and pulled in a muted 58 million, much lower than the last film's debut. By Rachel Abernathy of Screen Rant, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore has begun rolling out in theatres internationally, and its debut is far lower than that of the previous film. Set to arrive in US theatres next weekend, Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore is the third installment in Warner Brothers' Harry Potter prequel franchise. The new movie, directed by David Yates, finds zoologist Newt Scamander, Eddie Redmayne, the best thing about the franchise, by the way, leading a ragtag team as they embark on a new mission for Albus Dumbledore, Jude Law. Their goal to stop Dark Wizard Gellert Grindelwald, Mads Mikkelsen, from attaining more power over the Wizarding World. Fantastic Beasts 3 is arriving at a pivotal moment for the franchise. Though Harry Potter was an undisputed box office sensation over the course of its run, Fantastic Beasts has struggled to resonate with audiences. The last installment, 2018's The Crimes of Grindelwald, earned the worst reviews of any Wizarding World movie, and its 651 million worldwide total was a new low for the franchise so far. That is very low, actually, and that would have cost a lot of money to make. Fantastic Beasts 3 has earned better reviews than its predecessor, but its early box office projections still haven't been incredibly positive. Now the international rollout has begun. Per Variety, Fantastic Beasts 3 has earned 58 million from 22 overseas markets. This is much lower than the Crimes of Grindelwald's international debut, which was 191 million. However, it's important to note that the 2018 film actually opened in 79 markets. That is important. Fantastic Beasts 3 will add 44 new areas next weekend. So basically, it's a very good, solid international opening, considering other territories haven't had the release yet. So there could be higher figures ahead. There will be. This weekend, The Secret of Dumbledore's best debut came from China. We opened to 10 million. However, this is lower than where The Crimes of Grindelwald began in China, which was 36 million. But China has had many COVID lockdowns, so we must remember that too. Balconator, do you think The Flash has the potential to be the best DCEU movie? If no, what do you think could be? Listen, I think the reactions from the Flash movie are very positive, and it could be a nuts, insane multiversal movie that everyone loves. So the potential for each new film is always there to be a new great DCEU movie, but also there's also the potential for it to suck because of the different history of this franchise. And I think all the Zack Snyder DCEU movies are beyond reproach, in my opinion. So there's always that potential. Right now, I think you could choose one of Snyder's films and say they're one of the best, but also the first Wonder Woman, which pretty much is Zack's movie as well. That's one of my favorite superhero comic book movies of all time. There's Aquaman as well. So there's a lot of great movies in the DC Extended Universe. Bat Super. Did you see the news about The Flash? Yes, if you go back to the beginning of the video, we spoke about Alfred Jeremy Irons reprising his role in the Flash movie, and it's very, very exciting, but it's to be expected at the end of the day. Even before the reviews arrived last week, there was already a sense that Fantastic Beasts 3 wouldn't be able to completely fix things for the franchise. The Crimes of Grindelwald's reception was so mixed that it impacted overall perception of the series. And as the title suggests, The Secrets of Dumbledore has continued to double down on its shift away from the titular Fantastic Beasts. Yeah, because J.K. Rowling has messed up this prequel franchise because she hasn't got the ability to write, screen stories. Writing a novel and screen stories are two very different things, away from the titular Fantastic Beasts. Additionally, this is the franchise that has been plagued with a large number of real-life controversies. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling has become a divisive figure due to her recent anti-trans statements, and Warner Brothers faced backlash after ousting Johnny Depp from the series when he lost a highly publicized court case. That's not even touching upon star Ezra Miller's recent troubles. Of course, the full scope of how Fantastic Beasts 3 will fare won't become clearer until it arrives in other parts of the globe. things aren't quite so doom and gloom for the franchise, especially now that this installment is being viewed as an improvement over the last. With 2 more movies planned for the Fantastic Beasts saga, Warner Brothers really needs The Secrets of Dumbledore to right the ship. Only time will tell if it can do that. Right. They may not want to tell you how it's going to do. 58 million domestic, 58 million for an international weekend for only 22 countries' territories is actually really, really good. Brilliant. Right? And it's got more countries to add, and it's got the US to add, which is a huge market, one of the hugest markets in the world. So I think this movie will kind of maybe do 700 million, 800 million, which I think is perfectly fine. It may do the same paltry 600 million, but at the end of the day, that's the problem with prequels. You know, because Harry Potter isn't there anymore. People want Harry Potter. People want Ron. People want Hermione. People want that universe, and they're not being allowed to have it because J.K. Rowling's decisions. Can she get the actors back? Of course she can, if she really wanted to. Prequels are really difficult. Even George Lucas had trouble convincing Star Wars fans to embrace his prequels. I love the prequels, but I will say prequels are a very difficult kind of mountain to climb up on. So that's the problem with that. Personally, I think the first movie is fantastic. The second movie was a bit messy with some of the character motivations. But the third movie I've heard is very, very good, and I shall look forward to seeing it. So what we got for you next? Arrow Star wants to return as Black Canary in other Arrowverse shows. Despite Arrow ending over 2 years ago, Katie Cassidy expresses interest in returning to the Arrowverse to play Laurel Lance, Black Canary, by Paul I can't read your name, mate, of Screen Rant. Paul of Screen Rant, should we call him? Katie Cassidy has expressed an interest in returning to the Arrowverse. The actress had starred in the hit CW series Arrow for the majority of 8 seasons, which was the beginning of a shared television universe, DC heroes leading to too many spin-offs, including The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. Although Arrow ended its run back in January 2020, the world has continued to expand in its spin-offs, leading to an open door of possibilities for Cassidy to return. Cassidy played Laurel Lance, an attorney and love interest of Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow Stephen Amell, who eventually became the superhero known as Black Canary. Although Cassidy's Lance was killed off back in season 4, one of the biggest mistakes they ever made. Rumours of Katie not getting on with her other cast members and being removed from the show. I don't know what's true or not. I know personally Katie is a lovely girl and I've got a lot of time for her, but that's just my personal perspective. She returned to play her Earth 2 doppelganger, initially known as Black Siren, debuting on The Flash, who started as a villain but would later become an ally of the Green Arrow. A backdoor pilot known as Green Arrow and the Canary, starring Cassidy, was filmed and aired before the Arrow finale, but the CW decided to not pick up the project. So since the character is technically still alive, Cassidy has not ruled out the possibility of playing Laurel Lance again in the future. In an interview with CBN, Cassidy spoke about moving onto other projects while also not forgetting about her Arrowverse family. She reminisced on how much she missed her fellow cast members and how much they have grown since Arrow, while also expressing that life goes on. Cassidy also respectfully commented on how Green Arrow and the Canaries was basically milking the cow. Wow. You know, that's one thing about Katie, the kind of girl she is. She does speak the truth. And it was milking the cow. And that's the problem. But it wasn't even a very good spin-off. That's the problem. But still, did not regret being a part of the proposed spin-off. Read her response below. Yeah, it's not to say she's gone. I'd happily go on any of the other shows. I love those people. They're my family. I have so much gratitude. But at some point, it's why they say good things don't last forever. You grow and evolve and move on. It's so amazing when I run into these people I consider my family at conventions. It almost feels like how most of friends probably felt. That's how tight we were. I miss them and love them, but they're all killing it too. I'm glad for them. But this is life. We're just figuring it out. Laughs. Along with Cassidy's Laurel Lance, Black Siren, Green Arrow, and the Canaries was set to star Arrow regulars Catherine McNamara. Yes, it wasn't apart from Katie, it wasn't a strong cast. as Maya, Smoke, Black Star, and Juliana Harvey as Dinah Drake Black, which I liked her, by the way. Canary, as they continue to defend Star City after the death of Oliver Queen. Since the airing of both that and Arrow finale, Cassidy has not appeared on any other Arrowverse show. Despite her interest in returning, the shared universe has continued to strive with shows like The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Batwoman, and Superman and Lois still on the air. So Cassidy making an appearance on any of them as any version of Laurel Lance would be no surprise and a welcome treat for fans. Arrow had a great long run and created something special with its large pantheon of characters and storylines adapted from DC Comics. The crossover events were what kept fans returning to the shows, from Invasion to Crisis on Infinite Earths. Although Cassidy has missed her Arrowverse family dearly, it's no surprise her declaring that everyone eventually moves on at some point. Thankfully, that doesn't mean Cassidy is completely done with the Arrowverse. Maybe the Green Arrow and the Canary's backdoor pilot will be revisited someday. No, it won't. Whether on the CW or even HBO Max, no, it won't. Several shows are still on the air, and there is still room left for the Black Canary. There's always room for Katie and Black Canary, but not for that Canary spin-off. I can tell you that for sure. So what we got here? 80s Rewind at times 90s. Mike, in order, what are your favourite CW shows? Arrow, The Flash, Black Lightning, Legends of Tomorrow. They're definitely four of my favourite shows. I'm sure I'm forgetting one. There's so many as well, isn't there? Balcony, I really don't understand Keaton's Batman replacing Batfleck in his way older. The whole DCEU needs rebuilding. Well, his age is irrelevant, Balconator. It really is irrelevant. He could outrun me or you. He's a very fit gentleman. Let's not be ageist. It's the multiverse. This can work via the multiverse, but let's be clear. We don't know if he's going to be part of the new timeline, or if he stays in his universe. We just don't know until we know more about the movie. So yes, I adored Katie Cassidy as Black Canary. I thought she was amazing. My favourite version of the character thus far, and there's been 3 versions. Of course, there's been Journey Smollett. There's been what was the other? Oh, there was a version as well. There was another great version in Smallville as well. But I think she's my favourite version. And that's what a success story Arrow was. We're going to talk about James Gunn then. Next, right now. Bat Super Keaton is older than Jeremy Irons. It really doesn't matter about his age. He's a multiversal Batman. It's going to be made pretty obvious that Jeremy Irons' Alfred was the Alfred to Batfleck, but he's still there. So he can still be the Alfred to this guy, right? But he's not necessarily going to be in the new timeline, as I've just said. But all you lot do is come back with, he's too old, he's too old, he's too old. Your brain's stuck in Groundhog Day. Move on. He looks great. He's fit. He's an awesome version of Batman. What exactly is the problem? Or is it the Batfleck bias? That's the problem, maybe. James Gunn debunks rumour he once pitched a Moon Knight movie to Marvel. James Gunn debunks the rumour that he pitched a Moon Knight movie to Marvel, clarifying that he mentioned the character only once to Kevin Feige. I'll tell you what happened. He pitched it. Feige said no, so he's saying it was just in passing and I didn't really mean it. By Molly J. Weinstein of Screen Rant. James Gunn takes to social media yet again to answer fan questions, debunking the rumour that he once pitched Moon Knight to Marvel. The filmmaker has been keeping a very busy schedule lately, working on projects for both the MCU and the DCEU. Gunn recently wrote and directed Peacemaker for HBO Max, a spin-off television series of his 2021. The Suicide Squad and his MCU follow-up Guardians of Galaxy Volume 3 is currently in production. Gunn also reported that he's working on an additional unnamed DC project. Balconator, he could be a Batman on the Flashpoint timeline and could appear on the new main Earth along with Ben Affleck's Batman, or a new Batman, maybe. 83 1 times 90s. I'm excited about Keaton's Batman, and he's in Batgirl. Can't wait. Yeah, listen, if Affleck doesn't want to do it, they needed another option, and Keaton is an icon, and they knew it would get people hyped. So it makes sense. Don't worry about his age. One superhero property that Gunn did not create is Marvel's Moon Knight. Bat Super, I agree with you. I think Jeremy Irons won't be in the new timeline unless they do de-age Keaton. I have nothing against Keaton. He's an inspiration. Well, listen, you know, why won't, but if J.K. Simmons can be in the new timeline, maybe, then Jeremy Irons can. We'll have to wait and see. This is what Final Crisis is all about. Everyone amalgamating from different universes to join against the fight against Darkseid. Created by Jeremy Slater, the Disney Plus miniseries features Marvel Comics character of the same name. Oscar Isaac stars as Mark Spector, Moon Knight, who must uncover a deadly mystery involving Egyptian deities. With the help of his other personality, Stephen Grant, Mr. Knight, in 2017, Gunn had shared on Twitter that he had a great idea for a Moon Knight movie, but did not have the time to develop one. At some point, this tweet evolved into the rumor that the Guardians of the Galaxy writer-director had approached Marvel with a full pitch. That's super. I forgot about J.K. Simmons. My bad. This past week, Gunn debunked that rumor with another tweet. Gunn clarified his previous comments about Moon Knight in response to a fan asking if the rumor was true and what the filmmaker's relationship to the character was. Instead of pitching a Moon Knight movie to Marvel, Gunn revealed that he had spoken to Kevin Feige about the character only in passing. What does that even mean? And only once. He then added that he loved the character and could not wait to watch Slater's take on Disney Plus. Check out Gunn's tweets below. It's so funny. No, I didn't. I talked to Kevin Feige about it once in passing, like I did 20 other things, because I've always loved the character. I can't wait to check out Jeremy Slater's show. Considering Gunn's practice of highlighting obscure comic book characters in his work, as he did with Peacemaker, it is no surprise that he once considered Moon Knight as one of Marvel's less mainstream characters. Gunn would have had a lot of room to develop the complex anti-hero. Still, Gunn's tweet makes it very clear that he made no pitch for the Moon Knight movie. Does it make it clear? But he's very happy someone else was able to develop the character. While some fans of Gunn may always wonder what his version of Moon Knight would have been, Gunn seems okay that he was never able to develop his idea for the character. As he mentioned in his response, the filmmaker has a lot of ideas. Fans can catch more of Gunn's ideas in the Guardian of the Galaxy holiday special set to release this year. Well, let's get one thing straight. Gunn doing Moon Knight would have been an absolute disaster with his kind of humor and the way he does things, unless he was going to take a different direction with it. The way Jeremy Slater has gone at this is absolutely brilliant, and I'm really glad that James Gunn didn't get the opportunity to do this. I like James Gunn. I think he's a great guy. He's really talented, but he's a bit of a one-trick pony, and I don't think Moon Knight was for him. Right, we are going to talk about Doctor Strange 2, America Chavez character details revealed by Sam Raimi. I'm kind of interested in America Chavez, so I want to know what she's all about in this movie. Let's have a look. Balconator. Since Batfleck doesn't want to play Batman, Keaton might be a temporary Batman until Batfleck decides to come back, or we get Pattinson or a new Batman comes up. Well, I don't think we'll ever get Pattinson, although we might, considering the rumor is he does do a little insy cameo in the Flash movie, so anything's possible, yes. By Josh Planisi of Screen Rant. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness director Sam Raimi reveals more details about Xochitl Gomez, America Chavez. Raimi's best known for his work on horror films, including The Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, and of course helming Sony's Spider-Man trilogy starring Tobey Maguire. Following Doctor Strange 2016, director Scott Derrickson's exit from the project, Marvel Studios' Multiverse of Madness sees Raimi take his grand return to the comic book genre. Described as the first horror film to take place within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Doctor Strange sequel will follow its titular sorcerer as he ventures into the multiverse. Following WandaVision, Loki, What If, and Spider-Man No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness is poised to fully embrace Phase 4 multiverse concept as its heroes encounters alternate variant versions of themselves and other well-known characters. The film stars Benedict Cumberbatch, Rachel McAdams, Benedict Wong, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Elizabeth Olsen, who all reprise their MCU roles. Joining them is Gomez, making her MCU debut as the America Chavez, who was originally supposed to cameo in Spider-Man No Way Home. She was supposed to be the Sorcerer Supreme. It's funny, isn't it, that Feige is obsessed with making a minority kind of the Sorcerer the Sorcerer Supreme. It's like this obsession. And it's interesting with representation and inclusion. Nobody actually has to earn what they get. Doctor Strange went through a lot of shit to get that role, and then they just defrocked him. It's amazing to me. With only a month to go before Multiverse of Madness releases in theatres, promotion is ramping up, and the creators behind it are doing out teasers about the film. In a recent interview with Fandango, Raimi was asked to describe America Chavez and Doctor Strange's relationship in the film. Specifically, Raimi spoke on what Chavez adds to the story. Read his full response below. While she adds an exciting spirit of youth, she's a newcomer to her power and to our world. She actually comes from another universe. I think she brings a sense of lightness and youth. Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange can be a very egotistical and stuffy character. In other words, in their kind of talk, a toxic white male. And know it all, yeah. It's basically, they're trying to make this guy basically be as unlikable as possible because of the way he identifies. She just flies in the face of that. Yeah, exactly what we thought. Flies in the face of that. She doesn't really have respect for him originally. Oh, what a surprise. She sees right through the fronts that he puts up. She's much more down to earth with us. She doesn't take his attitude. I don't think he likes that at first, so she creates a contrast. It's really funny, isn't it? So she's one of us, but Doctor Strange, a human being, by the way, who can do magic, right, isn't one of us. Why is she one of us? And I'm happy for her to be one of us, by the way, but why isn't Doctor Strange? This is the problem. This is the creative bankruptcy and their extremism of their politics. And this is why this will be another film that will have a divided response. It will make money. These films always do. But this is a problem. '80s rewind to times '90s. I think Keaton's Batman is perfect to take the Batman mantle for now. Bat Super. Some people dislike the casting of America Chavez because she isn't black. Well, I mean, listen, I don't know about all of that because I don't understand the comics. Neither do I deeply care about it. But the way Raimi is talking about Doctor Strange here is absolutely offensive to me. And this is the problem. This is not Sam's fault. He's been thrown in here. He's decided to do this movie. And I think the more he sees of this movie, the more he was working on this movie, he knows this is going to be a cluster of shit. Chavez will create more than a contrast in Multiverse of Madness. In the comics, the character originates from a pocket dimension known as the Utopian Parallel and has the ability to open portals to other universes. It seems likely that Chavez will be forced to flee her reality and team up with Strange and Wong to combat some sort of multiversal threat. Chavez's star portals can briefly be seen in the film's trailer, which also teases an evil Strange Supreme, Defender Strange, Wanda Variant, and Patrick Stewart's Professor Charles Xavier, who appears to be a member of the Illuminati. Suffice to say, Strange's universe jumping in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness will be facilitated by Chavez. Or is the film facilitating Chavez? That said, the pair could encounter everything from zombies, mutants, and Spider-Man to the superior Iron Man beyond Multiverse of Madness. Marvel Studios has yet to reveal what's next for Chavez. Considering the character's ties to the multiverse and the MCU's multiversal narrative, chances are she'll be appearing in more projects after the sequel. And you can guarantee she will be around for quite a while, yeah. So that's all your headlines for today's Movies TV Mad Daily. What are you saying? '80s Rewind to times '90s. Any cameos in Doctor Strange 2 you excited about? I've heard Blade in it. Excited for that? Well, I'm excited for this other crazy version of Doctor Strange. I also think there's a chance of other cameos like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. Obviously, the potential for cameos is limitless. But listen, I come from the '80s, my friends, and cameos don't give me a boner. They don't do it for me. They're exciting, of course. I want to see a good structure for a story. I want to see a great movie. I want to see MCU movies made like they were in the good old phase one when they were proper old-fashioned movies. And throwing a bunch of cameos at me simply doesn't make me say, hey, greatest thing ever. Bat Super. I want to see Madam Web in a cameo. Well, she's a Sony character, but obviously Spider-Man's involved in the MCU, so that could be possible. Obviously, it's only a 2-hour film, So I would imagine it's not just going to be the multiverse of cameos. There's actually a story to this film. Hopefully, it's clearly continuing from what Doctor Strange did in Spider-Man No Way Home. So I enjoy that element. And I do feel that maybe Tom Holland will maybe reprise his role in this movie. Will he play another version of Spider-Man? Will Tobey Maguire and Andy Garfield reprise their roles of their Spider-Man as well? Only time will tell. This has been the Movies TV Mad Daily with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. And I'll see you again tonight when Movies TV Mad will be live with me, your host with the most again. And don't forget, this is a brand new daily show, 7 days a week. Movies TV Mad Live, pretty much doing what I'm doing here. If you like it, share it, let people know about it. And if you can't make it live, just rewatch the video. That's the whole point. And it saves me having to upload it. Bat Super, see you next stream. See you next stream, Bat Super. Thank you for your support. So until we see each other again, goodbye, au revoir, I'll feel the same. See you later.